Hi, and welcome KCIW listeners at 100.7, kciw.org, beautiful Brookings, Oregon, and syndicated listeners, welcome to you at KZZH 96.7 FM, Access Humboldt, Eureka, California. This is Joyously Free Radio with me, Jonie Lindenmeier, the best-selling author of None Better, an amazing love story. I'm so glad that you are tuning in today. I'm a 34-year resident of Harbor, Oregon, a retired Del Norte High School teacher after 35 years in Crescent City, and an author who has published 3 books in 2 years, also creating an audiobook in my own voice of my memoir, None Better. I absolutely love life, love being around people, and love being the producer and host of this fabulous, inspiring show. So let's begin with our morning salutation. I will say, it's a brand new day. And your response is, it's never been lived before. So here we go. It's a brand new day. Woohoo! Yep, it's never been lived before. So this Radio Gadio show, as Will and Viv named it, is a show that talks about LGBTQ stories and tips, along with religion, church, faith, spirituality, and joy. Simply said, the purpose of the show is to share, radiate, and spread abundant joy and freedom. Hence the title, Joyously Free. It's also the title of my second book I co-authored with Elizabeth Ann Atkins of twosisterswriting.com. So in this radio broadcast, just as in every day in my life, there's no hate speech, no hate behaviors, and no bullying. We will blast it with the 3 C's of courage, confidence, and collaboration. Together, let's seek understanding. Well, as with every show that we do, I always start with a prayer. So let's open our hearts as we ask our Creator to shine light on our community and our world. I excitedly believe in hope, in the power of the divine, and that Jesus, God's Spirit, whatever name you put on a higher being, is always with me and always with you. So be not afraid or troubled, saddened or depressed. Joy and peace are an internal expression of love and harmony that is already within us, and we only have to reach deep within and let it out, because love is abundant and everlasting. So let's center ourselves. Take a deep breath in with the good and out with doubt. Again, breathe in through your nose with hope and out from your mouth with any fears. Last one. Take a really big deep breath in with joy and out with worry or despair. In the name of Mother Earth, God, a creator, Jesus, our Redeemer, and the blowing winds of the Holy Spirit, we say, good morning. Hi, Jesus. Hi, God. Hi, Spirit. Thanks for being with us on this beautiful day. Well, today I chose a reading from Jeremiah. And I'm going to read it first, and then I'll give you just a quick little reflection, and maybe my guest will jump in and give a quick reflection too. Jeremiah 31:10 and a little bit of Isaiah 35:4. Hear the word of the Lord, O nations. Declare it to the distant lands. Behold, our Savior will come. You need no longer fear. Oh, I love that. Hear the word of the Lord, O nations. I think about the entire world, all of the nations. I think about the distant lands that we don't even know about. Maybe they're not even found yet. And what about, yes, behold, our Savior will come. And it's days away from Christmas, days away. And you need not longer fear. Oh, you know what? I think we're more spiritual beings than we are human beings. Oh, Dana, would you like to add anything in there really quickly?
Oh gosh, no. I need to have text in front of my eyes to be able to reflect on it.
All right. Well, everybody, you know that this is our morning prayer. We're lifting up our friends and our family. We ask our Creator guidance and healing today. And you've already heard our wonderful speaker's voice this morning. Let me introduce you to Pastor Dana Gill. Yes, she is the pastor of the Crescent City United Methodist of Church. And I am just so glad that you're here, Dana. And our topic today, it's awesome. It's all about all-inclusive church, an all-inclusive pastor, which you are. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, yes. And this is what it's all about, is all inclusivity. And so I'm hoping, Dana, can you jump in and just say, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. It's we're in the middle of our busy season. So I'm kind of in sprint mode, but I am paused and I'm present and I'm here.
Good for you. Good for you. So there might be listeners out there, Dana, that don't have a clue of who you are, where you are, what you do. Can you fill us in on a little bit about you personally?
Okay, sure. I don't know how much depth and breadth you're looking for, but I'm a ordained elder in the United Methodist Church here in Northern California and Northern Nevada. That's how our conference is broken up.
Okay.
And I have two different graduate degrees for ordination. One, I have a Master of Arts in Ministry and then a Master of Divinity. And I came here to Del Norte County because my bishop told me to, because that's the way the Methodist Church works.
Fantastic. Where did you get your master's from?
So my Master of Arts in Ministry is from Drew Theological School in New Jersey, and it's a Methodist university. And then my Master of Divinity I got from Austin Presbyterian Seminary in Austin, Texas.
Wow, way cool. Way cool. And did you live in any of those areas, or did education take you to those sites?
Oh, yeah, well, I lived on site at both locations. Online school was not really a thing as far as like universities go. I think that really took off with the pandemic. So it was all in person. And so I lived in New Jersey, and then I lived in Austin, and then I moved here.
Wow. Very cool. And you're so young. I think you're only like 25.
Thank you so much. No, I am 41.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I would not think that at all. Your energy is galactic for one thing. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes.
Believe it or not, I had more energy 10 years ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I hit a wall about when I hit 35.
Oh, wow. Wow. Any reason why?
Well, yeah, I was exposed. Well, this is a rabbit hole. I was exposed to mold over a long period of time. And so I deal with chronic mold exposure and autoimmune diseases now.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. So medically, it just hits your body is what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it triggered multiple autoimmune diseases to start. Like my body just started attacking itself. And now because of that, I have, Hashimoto's and fibromyalgia and, other things going on.
I also have Hashimoto's. I guess we have another thing in common. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So, going back to your master's, Dana, why did you get the master's?
Well, I mean, they're required for ordination. But I suppose the deeper question there is, why did I seek ordination, right?
There you go. Let's go for it.
So when I was raised in a household with a lot of love, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I want to preface this story with, I have a wonderful relationship with my parents now. And I grew up in a very fundamentalist Christian household, like cult of the Christian patriarchy. My dad was the only one who had any say in how we acted and what we did, right? And I came out as queer to my parents when I was 12, and I was met with shame and don't talk about that. That's not it's not even something that we are going to entertain, right? And then I came out to them again when I was 15, and I was met with the same reaction. That time it was a little bit more dismissive. And then when I brought my first girlfriend home, it wasn't my first girlfriend, but it was my first girlfriend that I brought home. I didn't need to come out to my parents anymore, but that was still a struggle and an adjustment, right? They took it really personally. And so I left the church because I had so much harm had been caused by the ways in which told me that I was not a complete person, that I was not whole, that I was shameful, like all of the things that you hear from churches about being queer. And my perceived rejection of my parents made me seek out really harmful institutions to try and liberate myself. And I made a lot of really bad choices.
Mhm.
But then eventually I ended up coming back to the church. I was living in San Francisco at the time and found a very progressive church in the Ocean Merced, uh, some it's the OMI district. I can't remember what the I stands for.
Mhm.
Temple United Methodist Church. And I don't know what made me want to go back to church. I have a few ideas that we don't need to get into, but I did go back to church. And I don't know why I picked a United Methodist Church, but I did. And I'm glad that I did in hindsight.
Mhm.
And I just kept coming back. They were lovely and wonderful, and they didn't understand me and some of the choices that I had made, but they continued to embrace me, and I grew with them. And I realized, like, this is the kind of community that church should be.
Mhm.
Um, it was inclusive, it was diverse, it was accepting, even if they didn't agree with your lifestyle choices or whatever, right? Like,
Mhm.
it was a shame-free, judgment-free church, and that was my first time ever experiencing it. And so um, I decided that I wanted to get ordained and create communities like that to reach people who had been so harmed, um, moving forward.
Wow, what a calling. I call that a calling. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it sounds like you never expected any of this.
Oh, no. If you had told me even 20 years ago that, when on my 21st birthday, that I was going to be an ordained clergy person, I would have laughed in your face.
Oh, wow. 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 And what did your family say with this?
They, well, my sister is she goes between agnostic and atheist, right? Um, but she didn't understand it, and she was like, "Wow, is this another one of your really bad decisions?" Um, but as it started to unfold, she was like, "No, this is actually a really beautiful decision, and I support it." My parents were just absolutely thrilled because I was living unhoused in San Francisco.
Mhm.
Um, and so when I got back into church and got my life back on track, they were just absolutely thrilled, and it got them back into church. Actually, they now go to church again, and
Wow.
they go to a United Methodist church. They have reconciled their souls and are no longer fundamentalist.
This is huge, Dana. You have so many factors here going on. You have your parents' decisions in calling. You have yours. You have your sisters. This is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely huge that all of this is like a ripple effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
And now I get to be in Del Norte County and create a safe space that's inclusive and welcoming, and really live into my calling.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh my God. And then talk to me about your church community in Crescent City. Where is it? What street is it on? How does somebody get a hold of your church?
Oh boy. So we're in the middle of Crescent City. Our parking lot is right across from the police station. So it's 664 H Street. It's the big cement Gothic looking church, I've been told. Um, and the best way to communicate with us is either if you look at our Facebook page or our Google info page. The phone number on there is actually my Google Voice number. So people are often surprised when they call that number and they're like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting to get the pastor."
Uh-huh.
Um, but you can contact us through Facebook, through phone or text, or through email. But we have our services on Sunday at 11. We're what's called a reconciling congregation
Oh, what does that
in
mean?
United Methodist. Yeah, so in the United Methodist Church, if you are a reconciling congregation, you're not just a welcoming and inclusive church. You are actively committed to repairing the community, is actually committed
Oh,
to repairing the harm that is caused to the queer community. So
wow.
we have a safe space at our church every Friday night where it's just a safe space for the queer community to come together and be who they are. We're kind of in the middle of a restructuring because we had some leadership changes. We have a trans support group. Um, every other Saturday. We just have this ability to reach out to so many people who have been harmed by being told that they were not whole or imperfect.
Yes. And I've been honored to be there as a lesbian woman, as well as an author, as well as a friend for these safe space gatherings. The potlucks, the camaraderie is just phenomenal. And the healing that just happens because you just get to be yourself.
And I mean, we have a great music program. You had our music director on your radio show a few weeks ago. And
yes, David Sedgwick.
Yes. So it's a good church. It's a joyful church. There's a lot of celebration that happens, and a lot of because I believe that community meals are some of the best ways to get to know, to grow, and to heal. Right.
Yes.
So we break bread together regularly, twice a month at least, bare minimum.
And you know what I also love about your church, and please talk about it, are the allies and the advocates. So if a person is not anywhere on the LGBTQ spectrum, your allies and advocates are so right there with everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's part of what it means to be a reconciling church. That doesn't mean that everyone in our church identifies as somewhere on the queer spectrum, right? It means that we have a lot of allies in our church that know deep in their bones that they need to use their straightness to help amplify the needs of the queer community. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love our church community. Like, everyone's so wonderful there.
Right. So as an ordained minister, a queer ordained minister, Pastor Dana, do you provide same-sex marriages? What are some of the things that you provide as this pastor, as this ordained minister?
Well, so as an ordained person, that allows me to perform the sacraments, which is communion and baptism. And then I can marry and bury folks, right? Those are the four main things that
beautiful
elevate me. I'm using air quotes, but they elevate me above what other lay people can do. And yes, I do. I've performed same-sex marriages, and there is no, someone can complain about it if they want, but nothing will happen. I won't have my title removed from me, which was not always the case in the United Methodist Church. But I also, one of my favorite parts about being a queer ordained minister is being able to offer the queer community communion, because for a lot of people, especially from the Catholic tradition, they are still to this day denied communion. But if they come into my church, we serve what's called an open table. So if communion is something that's important to you, I don't ask questions. Gay, straight, cis, trans, purple, pink, it doesn't matter. You're going to get communion if you want it.
And they don't even have to be out. They don't have to share that they're out or not, correct?
Nope. I don't ask questions like that, because I move at the pace of grace of someone else. Everyone comes out in their own time. I'm not about to out someone else, because that's one of the worst things in the world, is being outed when you're not ready.
Exactly. Yep, for sure. I so get the communion thing. That is just vitally important. I know for sacramentally, when Carol and you never met Carol, but we waited 39 years for the Catholic Church to marry us. It never happened. So we became Episcopalian, and we're married by an Episcopal priest up here, Father Bernie from St. Timothy's. But that was a big thing. And I think that the marrying and the burying is all inclusive for those people on the LGBTQ spectrum. That really nails it. The marrying and the burying. Awesome.
Yeah.
And to me, those are joyously free moments.
Yeah. We had actually our first ever gay wedding at the church, because our United Methodist rules only recently shifted. And in all honesty, I would have married them anyways, even if it was a chargeable offense. But we had our first gay wedding, and man, it was standing room only in that place. It
Oh
was
my
packed.
gosh.
It was such a wonderful celebration.
Oh, how exciting. How exciting. That's wonderful. And within the church, not on the riverbanks, not on the ocean, but in the actual church building.
Yep.
Yep. Oh
Which
my
is
gosh.
a big moment for the queer community who are dying for faith
Yes.
again.
Yes. Are you and your church the only all-inclusive church in Del Norte County?
The St. Paul's Episcopal Church is also very welcoming. I don't know what the denomination's formal stance is. You might be able to speak to it better. But they hold the Trans Day of Remembrance. But we also partner on a pretty regular basis.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And then how about other churches that are non-inclusive? Are they antagonistic towards you? Is there any ugliness going on there?
Not overtly. I can't say what happens behind closed doors or, what kind of conversation. I have been personally threatened when I was hanging a rainbow flag during June in front of the church once. Someone parked their big dually truck and started saying that I was an abomination and that I was sinful and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the other churches go, I can't really speak to it, but we've never really had a big history of working together within our different denominations in Del Norte.
Do you think that might happen if you're a reconciling congregation?
No, because most of I don't want to speak ill of another faith tradition and denomination, but so many of the other denominations around here are not, don't have the same stance as we do, right? Like we have some trans folks in our congregation that have been told they're not even allowed to step foot on the property of other churches.
Yeah. How hateful, how discriminatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, man. And my heart goes out, and I know you've experienced some things, too, that they were trying to shame you and guilt you from when you were young and have had crazy experiences as well within the community there. Mm-hmm. That is the naysayers. If you could, and somebody came up to you and said, I don't agree with you at all, Pastor Dana, what would you say to them?
I would ask them why. Like, what about their faith says that being queer is a sin? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's more about getting curious. Like, why do you think that? And then if they bring up scripture, well, why is that relevant? How is that content, right? Because the Bible doesn't talk at all about homosexuality, and then you can pull up the one Leviticus reference, but if you look at the context of it, that's not really what it's talking about. Mm-hmm. There's a few other instances that people try and pull from, and I just get curious about why that's important to them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think that's a really important fact right there is that, the Bible doesn't say anything against homosexuality. It doesn't bring it up. And a lot of people think that it does. Do you think those are the man-made rules that have come into different denominations and that's why it's there?
Well, we've always had this, not always, but, for even since we were writing Leviticus as humans, we've had these ideas around what sex is and isn't and what it should and shouldn't be. And so it's just humans wrestling with what, I don't know. So I'm thinking about, I'm not making any sense, but what I'm currently thinking about is the ways in which sex, when it's talked about in Leviticus and any of the other Bible texts, it's more about power over and dominance over someone. It's the man has dominance over another entity.
The power and the control.
Nothing. Yeah. And so if you're going to lay with a man the way you do with a woman, that's taking away a man's manhood. Mm-hmm. Not so for them, right? I don't actually believe that's true, but that's why that was written. And so I don't know. Yeah, it's all about power and control. And I always get curious. Why is that important to you?
Well, I think what's important today is that the listeners tuning in right now, they know they can get a hold of you. They can talk to you openly and honestly and be celebrated and be included in your church, your care, your safe space. And so that is phenomenal to me, Dana, phenomenal. And I'm so glad that God has called you to be ordained, to be a queer minister, and to help our community as a whole. So I'm just so thankful that you came on the radio today. Are there any final comments you'd like to share? You've got about 30 seconds or less.
Oh man, thanks for having me. And to anyone who is struggling with harm caused by their faith, just know that you are whole and holy and wholly loved.
Beautiful.
It will take work to undo the harm that has been caused, but it can be done.
Yay! I like it. It can be done. And hang around with Dana because her positivity will get you going right there. Oh, my gosh. Oh, listeners, this has been fabulous. Dana, you've been fabulous, phenomenal. High tens to you. I thank you so much. And I hope all the listeners have been included, been inspired and hopeful and everything. Let me give some thank yous here. It's the KCIW team of Mike Gorse on the sound, Tom Bozak, Candace, and Rose. Everybody here at KCIW 100.7 FM makes this happen. I want to give a shout out to two of my sponsors to make this joyously free radio happen. Steve Van Cleve up in Alaska and Sally and Todd Roy right here in local Brookings. I just highly recommend that everybody get a hold of Dana. And in the meantime, smile big, wear bright colors, and have a great day. Thank you.